Today we're going to be checking out this 1999 Mazda Miata. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started straight on with the review. This car is finished off in white, and I must say this color really does look good. This car is powered by a 1.8 liter 4-cylinder with 140 horsepower and 119 pound-feet of torque. And with the weight of 2,299 pounds, you can expect a 0 to 60 time of 7.9 seconds, right up to a top speed of 132 miles an hour. This car has a length of 155.3 inches, has a width of 66.1 inches, has a height of 48.4 inches, and has a wheelbase of 89.2 inches, and also has a ground clearance of 5.5 inches. This car is only offered with a 5-speed manual transmission, and this car's fuel capacity is 12.7 gallons, with the fuel economy being 22.1 out in the city and 35.6 out on the highway. Let's go ahead and start with exterior styling, starting with the rear end. The rear end of this car is very, very distinctive. If you see this rear end rear end like this on the road, you automatically can know it's a Miata, unless you just look at the Mazda badge and look at the Miata logo on the back. But that's pretty much the only thing, though. You don't really need to have those badges to know that this is a Miata. Side view of the Miata, it does look pretty standard, just like any other car today. I mean, things that you can see that it does have a kind of a similar, like a really tight and really compact look to it. Kind of reminds me of a Suzuki Cappuccino is what this kind of reminds me of a little bit. It's really small and it's really distinctive. This car is also a convertible. As you can see, the top can be folded right straight down like this. I'll pop up a B-roll what that looks like now. Moving on to the front end, and this generation of the Miata, it is again a really distinctive front end with these kind of like oblong shaped headlights, as you can see, as well with the Mazda badge right in the middle of that, and it looks really cool. And so that's pretty much all the things on the exterior of this car except for the wheels, but I'll go over the wheels after we get back from the drive. Anyway, without any further ado, let's go ahead and go take a step inside and take a look at some of the interior quirks. But before we walk inside, the moment you open up the door, you actually look down in the door sill and you actually see a Miata logo with the MX-5 underneath it. It looks really cool. Alright, so now we move on to the inside of the Mazda Miata, and I must say the inside of this car really does look good. I really do love the aftermarket steering wheel that the owner put inside of this car. It really does look good. I absolutely love it, as well as the gear lever. The gear lever does feel really good. The shift gears, as you can see as I shift gears in the B-roll, the shifting of this car's gears, they really do feel good. It's really nice and quick. It's not hard. It's pretty easy to me, and I cannot wait to experience what that's like whenever I drive it later on. Taking a look at the gauge cluster, as you can see, this gauge cluster does look kind of familiar. It looks like any other gauge cluster today. Of course, you got the fuel gauge. Of course, you also got the tachometer, you also got the oil temperature gauge, and you also got the speedometer, and you also got the car's temperature gauge as well. And I'm sorry if the camera is losing focus. I don't know what's going on with it today. And another thing I like about this car does have climate controls, but look how tiny these climate controls are. If you look at, this is a scale as I can move them around, and just like any other climate controls, but look how tiny they are. I'm putting my hand up to it right now, and as you can see, these climate controls are so ridiculously small. I love how small they are. They're kind of cute. I kind of like them. And in between those, of course, you have the hazard light button. This car's stereo is aftermarket, so I'm not going to go after this car's stereo because it's not in the traditional Miata. However, if we go down to the climate controls are just like any other climate controls. Of course, you got the temperature dial on the far left. Of course, you also got the mode dial on the far right, and of course, you also got the fan speed dial right in the middle. Of course, you got the AC button, and then you also got the windshield defroster, the rear windshield defroster is what I should say. You also got the circulation. One cool thing about this is that you can actually select how much circulation you want as well. One thing I noticed is this is the circulation dial, and it looks really cool. Whenever you adjust it, you can actually hear it adjusting. Listen. And underneath the aftermarket stereo of this car, you do have a little storage compartment in there, as you can see. These are actually the window controls. The window controls are not on the door panel. They are actually located in the center console, at the center console area, in front of the center console storage. As you can see, these are the buttons you push up and down to actually roll up and down the windows. And then of course you also got a small little storage compartment right in front of there as well. And that's pretty much all the really interesting, cool, and interesting quirks inside of this car, and how most things work inside of this car. But now for the fun part, I think it's time for us to get this car out on the road to see how it drives. Before we get started with the drive, I want to go ahead and give a huge thank you to the owners of this car, Cam and Kat, which Cam is on Instagram as IconicCam, and Kat is on Instagram as IconicKitty. And I invite you guys go check them out, because not only do they have this Mazda Miata, but they also have a green 240, which is a drift monster, and then they also have a stock 240. Because, I mean, come on, you guys should go follow them if they have all those really cool cars. Anyway, straight on with the drive. Alright, we are now driving the Mazda Miata, and I've driven to this business, and so far I think it's pretty cool, but now it's time for us to go ahead and take it back out on the road. Have some real fun with it. Have some real fun with this thing. And I must say, so far this thing is incredibly fun to drive. This thing literally darts around corners, and it is just so much fun to drive. Right there. This thing is like incredible to drive. It really does. It really does get you up and go. This thing is just like, yep, we're gonna do it, and you're gonna feel every single bit of it. And steering, I absolutely love. The steering of this car is direct, and I mean so direct. I absolutely love how the steering is, and also the shifter feel is awesome. It's so easy. It's unlike the Porsche. The Porsche's shifter was a little bit stiff. The thing is that it was a quick shifting. This one right here does feel lighter than the Porsche. However, the Porsche was quicker. This one here, I do love more of that. The ride is a little bit punishing, but it ain't crazy. The car isn't a Rolls Royce, but the thing is, for a fun sports car that you want to take out just whenever you want to go have fun, this thing here is just an absolute blast. And you can find these for a really good cheap price. You can find these range between like $1,000 and like $20,000. These right here, you can find these for a really, really good cheap price. And for what the price, this car is just an absolute bargain. car is incredibly fun to drive. Shifting is incredibly easy. Man, I just love this thing. And so that's the 1999 Mazda Miata, and I must say this car drove incredibly well. It's an absolute blast to drive. because it's so small, it darts around corners. It's literally a street legal race car for the road. And anyway guys, if you guys did enjoy, please make sure you guys go hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications, and also go ahead and go drop a like on this video to support me in the channel. Also guys, go subscribe to all my other YouTube channels. They're going to all be linked in the description box down below, as well as also on my social medias. Anyway guys, thank you all so much for watching today's video. Peace out.